In today's Money Watch, we're talking about the high cost of parenting. Although inflation has dropped sharply over the past 2 years for many things, parents don't seem to be getting much relief. A recent report found that the average annual cost of childcare in the U.S. more than $11,500 last year. And of course, that doesn't count a full-time nanny. And in some areas, you can be paying 2-3 times higher. We're going to get into all that. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here. Jill. Whew. All right. So I want to say what's behind the high cost of childcare, but I'm also mindful of the fact that the people doing the childcare say that's a salary for me. Maybe it should be higher.
Well, before the pandemic, childcare costs were creeping up. It was sort of insidious. So you talk to a middle-income family and they were like, oh, my God, this is so expensive. Then the pandemic hit. Childcare centers closed. And the people who were working there said, I've got to find another job. Guess what? It was easier to find a job elsewhere making more than, want to hear the average for last year, is under $15 an hour for a child care worker. So you could basically say, I'll go work in a warehouse and make more than that, and I'll get benefits. So the cost of child care is now so much higher than the government recommends. The government recommends using 7% of your income for child care.
Pre-tax.
Pre-tax. Now it's running 10% for couples. And if you're a single person and you're raising a kid, it's 30%. So this.
So what's the average cost per hour nowadays for childcare? You said back then it was $14.
No, last year,
Under $15.
$14.60.
Wow,
$14 last year.
So, I mean, you can make that working in an Amazon warehouse.
Exactly.
And the packages don't run off or use the restroom. So, I mean, it seems like, what's the takeaway from that data?
Well, I think the takeaway is that childcare costs are rising, and we don't do a lot to help people. We want to do more, but people are making very specific choices. I want to be clear about this, that especially women.
There we go.
Look at those numbers. Those are just weekly numbers. So, you know, if you want a nanny, it's 40 grand, and you want daycare, it's 17 grand. But, you know, women especially are making choices that I think are really smart for their families, but they can be sort of dangerous. So what I mean is they're taking time out of the workforce. They're saying, I will go home and raise my kid for 3, 4, 5 years. But what does that do? It means they're not contributing to their own retirement.
Right.
It means that the family might not be as financially stable. Or they're taking jobs that are not great jobs. They're staying in sort of dead-end jobs because they need the flexibility. So there are risks to these choices.
So are there resources to help people with childcare expenses?
There really are. And
They're called grandparents.
Yeah.
Well, so we'll get to that in a second. But there are federal and municipal resources. Childcare.gov. It is a magic website, frankly. There are vouchers and there are programs. There are actually really important places where you can find help. Now, this is geared, it's state by state, and it is geared towards lower earning families. But you never know. You've got to plug the numbers in. If you work for a big company, don't forget to use dependent care accounts. These are basically tax preferenced accounts that you can pay for your child care. And of course, you've got to claim all of the tax credits that are due to you.
News you can use. Jill Schlesinger, thank you very much. I mean, I've been crunching the numbers like for the last couple of months. It ain't pretty out there, but we appreciate you, Jill.